Hi, my name is Wayne Levendale. I'm the CEO of Premier Swazi. We run the biggest flour mill and bakery in the country. We deliver throughout the whole kingdom. And the summit really helps me from a perspective of learning and realizing the basics that we take so much for granted. Listening to the message of Bill, there's no fancy message, it's just keeping straight to the basics and plugging into God's word and doing things the right way. I've brought a bit of my management team with me, and if I look at what they shared with me last night of their expectation from today and what they've learned yesterday, it's definitely not only going to apply to my life, but I think Swaziland in general. Whoever comes to listen to this message and applies it in our small kingdom, there's a lot to learn from it. One of the key things as leaders, we sometimes try to conduct ourselves as if we can never expose the mistakes that we make. And just listening to Bill Houston's presentation and where he had to open up on the personal things in his life, and it really hits home with not myself only, but I think every leader and a lot of people in Swaziland. We've been a small community. We like to keep things to our chest where things go wrong, but the truth is, take it out and deal with it. And you look at some of the greatest leaders. Brian was one of the examples for me, and if you don't know his story, you think they can never do wrong. And if somebody like him can go through such turmoil, where do we stand as much smaller leaders? But the lesson to be learned is never be afraid of those challenges and just face up to what you go through and deal with it. Again, going back to something that Bill had said, where he spoke about the three things, and one of it is the why. And I think a lot of leaders, especially in Swaziland, and I start with myself, is if we go back and look at the why. A lot of us in the why is just me. And listening to those messages, we need to just widen it a little bit and also play a part in doing God's work, in adding the bigger kingdom in everything that we do in our life, and add that to our why. And I'm pretty sure we can grow as a nation much better than we currently are at the moment. I'm very thankful to the Global Leadership Summit for firstly considering Swaziland. We're such a small country, we can quite easily be forgotten, but the whole experience that we will walk away from this as a nation, and the fact that there's a commitment to next year as well, we really appreciate the effort and commitment to our kingdom. Thank you, Global Leadership Summit, and we wish you all the best, and thank you for everything that you do for every kingdom, and God bless you.
Bishop Zakes is my name. Coming to the summit has really energized, empowered, and challenged me greatly. Right now, I feel like running because so relevant this summit was that I couldn't function if I didn't come here. A link has been joined into me. So I do leadership seminars, pastor seminars for the last 23 years in Swaziland. I've just returned from Malawi, and sitting on this summit, what hit me most was, it covers all: business, politics, clergy, and ordinary leadership and family. So I'm sitting here. It's like sometimes you can compare leadership seminars with others, but what we got here is unique. This is what we need for Swaziland. We need this as leadership in Swaziland with the desperate situation that we have economically, leadership, and we need it urgently. People have to come because, as I say, the equipping that is found in here, it's so professional, it's so spiritual, it's the whole package. That is to say, if they would come here, they will be able to also decentralize the message and take it as they function to other leadership. So I insist, all those that are in leadership, business, clergy, politics, this is what we need for Swaziland. This is an answer that we've been waiting for. in our cries that, Lord, when, I think this is the way to go, Swaziland.
I'm the chairman of a construction company that operates in sub-Saharan Africa, and a major takeaway for me today is that we're in the service business. We're providing services, and we have to connect with our clients, with all our stakeholders, and we must mobilize our team of dedicated people to make that difference in the areas where we operate. We work in a destitute society, in a continent where there is huge need. We have the opportunity to make a vast difference. And a major takeaway for us is we must contribute into our people, into our stakeholders, into the communities, into our clients. Everywhere we go, we must go with purpose to make a difference, to bring God's love in His heart, to be His people. I felt during the day that the excitement was growing. People was getting more and more alive as they were exposed to the material. It's really refreshing. In the area where we operate, the country, the region, the times are tough, and people really experience encouragement through it. And I could feel an excitement growing amongst people that from every teaching, every speaker, there's just people are growing in confidence, in hope. And in a time when this country and this region really, really desperately needs hope. And we're really excited about tomorrow. It's going to bring more of the same. And the expectation to take not only what we've heard, but to also take the material further and go and spread that message amongst the other people that weren't here. Because there's a great future for this in this region, in this area, and in this country. I believe business leaders in this region, in this country, should attend a summit like this, because it'll change your world. It'll change the world of the people that you touch, and it'll make a difference in the lives of many outside you and your area of influence. You'll be amazed by what it can do for you.
My name is Naomi Chitambira. I'm married to Tinashe Chitambira. Together we are blessed with 3 children. I'm an executive coach and founder of Strengths Incorporated, co-founder with my husband. My calling is leadership. I had a burden for leadership, and God said, why don't you start with yourself? That's how I got myself into coaching and leadership development in Southern Africa. That's our focus. One of the greatest joys of this conference to me, the summit, the leadership summit, is just the knowledge to know that the burden of leadership is not only on us, in Africa, just as I feel it, but it's all over the world, and sharing it. It has been tremendous, the learning and the passion, like-minded people, and actually it has given me hope that it can happen in Africa, that we'll see a day where leadership will be at a level that we come together, we overcome our obstacles, and it's possible with God. The big, hairy, audacious dream is possible with God. Yeah, thank you.
My name is Tobile Mnisi. I am the Center Manager of Challenge Ministries Women's Center. It's a rehabilitation program that takes ladies from the age of 14 upwards who are battling with life-controlling habits, and also those who've been physical and sexual abused. I'm a leader there, and this leadership summit has really helped me to look into my own leadership skills, and I've really learned that I have to allow God to lead what I am doing. Sometimes I've made mistakes whereby I was doing things based on what I think I know best. But I've learned that I have to bring it to God. Yesterday, Albert talked to us about this boy who had 5 loaves and 2 fish, and he gave to Jesus. There's one thing that he actually said that stood out for me. He said that this boy gave Jesus his lunch and he moved out of the way. He didn't direct Jesus to say, could you please distribute this food this way? But he just let Jesus to be the leader and do what he wanted to do. So I really felt like sometimes I want to direct the ship the way I want to. But I've learned that now I am going to give Jesus what I have, because I do believe that God has given me the leadership skills, but now I have to let him be the one to tell me how to drive the boat that he has actually placed in my hands. Another thing that I learned was that, you know what, sometimes we've got a lot of fears in our lives. Like myself, I suffered a huge rejection, but I didn't know that I can, through worship, actually find a way to get out of that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to sit down and select songs that are going to help me throughout that rejection. I love singing. I'm a worshiper myself, but I never thought that through that worship, it can actually help me to face my own fears. Another thing that I learned the most was that to embrace the love of God as a father to me, he must be this father figure that I never had, because for me, I saw God as someone that's up there that I can't even reach to. But today I've learned that as a leader, I have to be vulnerable before him and tell him my fears and allow him to be my father and allow him to actually lead me in this journey, because this is a journey. So I'm so grateful for all the teachings that we got over those 2 days, and I just know that it was not a mistake for me to attend this. It was because God had a plan for me. I'm going to go back there and be able to be that leader that actually God wants me to be. And you know what? It's so amazing that sometimes we think as leadership, we know everything. But for me, I learned that I also need to involve the people that I am leading. I need to confront some issues, and I should not avoid issues that need to be confronted. And I should also know when I don't need to actually confront, but to avoid, in order for the organization to grow, in order for the work that God has placed in our lives to grow.
Hello, my name is Roger Mamba. I'm working with the Loop Commission as the Director of Community Public Relations, and also act as a legal advisor, as a senior advisor to the executive directors of the Loop Commission. I'm so glad to work with the Loop Commission because I was afforded a chance to attend the Global Leaders Summit at Potter's Wheel, which lasted for 2 days, and I was so impressed to learn the blind spot of my side as a leader. And I was also impressed that as a leader, I mustn't take challenges as something which can make me to fail, but I must take challenges as something which is a stepping stone to growing forward as a leader. And on the other side, I learned from the Global Summit that a good leader is somebody who always humble himself, who always open up his ears to hear from the people he is leading.
I run a few pick and pay supermarkets, and effectively my background is hospitality. So what really spoke to me today was the service. And the speech by Horst Schultz, for me, really was an eye-opener. Once again, just bringing and reflecting back to that the customer is not just number one, but that he's prevalent and number one in everything you do in business. And also regarding retaining the customer, I think that was something that really hit home for me. It's not just winning the customer, but retaining the customer. And then the other aspect of caring. Often we misled by thinking that because we provide a service or we provide a product, especially in our trade, that we've done our job. And we haven't done our job. And the caring, the emotional side of it, I think, has been lacking in our business. And that's something that I need to bring back to our staff, where they need to show the care to the customer. And I think bringing the summit here has effectively opened their minds to the rest of the world. Is not much different to us, although we do suffer the epidemic of HIV and AIDS. I really think it's not a bad word anymore in our vocabulary. It was 10 years ago when we first started. I lost a lot of my senior people to HIV/AIDS. So I think really the summit just opens the doors so Swazis can see that other countries have similar challenges when it comes to leadership, because effectively that's what it's about. And regardless of the epidemic, and I'm not being facetious about that, you still need the elements of leadership to make you overcome it. And I think from a business perspective, I think this whole summit of bringing it here just equips them better to deal with the epidemic of HIV/AIDS. But as I said, we don't regard it as a bad word anymore. We encompass it. And what I mean by it, you've got to own the problem. So I really think the summit is, especially for my staff, I mean, I brought 4 of them here today. And, you know, just for them to see that they have got the tools and they can deal. So I really believe that it can change the environment going forward, without a doubt.
My name is Sabelo Welcome Kina. Here we are in Lavomisa. That's where there is the lovely church. Thanks for the partnership we have with Challenge Ministries Swaziland and also with Christian Life Center, Dayton, Ohio. I thank God for the opportunity He has given me to attend the Global Leadership Summit. As I was there are a lot of things I've learned, and I am motivated, I'm inspired through the lecture there. One of the things I learned was the vulnerability of the leaders. Most of the time in Swaziland, we don't have that opportunity where leaders are opening up to tell their story of the things that are affecting them. We live to hide what we experience so that we cannot even get help. But through that, I learned that if we are in a vulnerability situation, you need to talk to someone so that you'll be uplifted and being helped somehow, so that you'll be encouraged. That was the main thing I learned.